Out of all the Pac-Man games out there, there are none as more beloved than the Pac-Man World games. This trilogy of 3D platformers is widely considered to be some of the best Pac-Man games of all time. They took the elements that made the original arcade games iconic and recontextualized them for a platformer setting. All three games are beloved classics, well, mostly. The third game is a bit more divisive, but even then, it still has fans. The fan favorite, however, has to be Pac-Man World 2. I mean, just ask anyone online what their favorite Pac-Man game is. Chances are, they'll say Pac-Man World 2. So when Bandai Namco announced that Pac-Man World 2 would be getting a full-on remake just like the first Pac-Man World, people were absolutely excited. And finally, on September 26th, the game was released. But the question is, did it live up to expectations? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. My name is TheCookieMaster, and this is my review of Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC. Before I start, I need to say that I've never actually played the original Pac-Man World 2, so this is going to be my first ever experience with the game.
Hey, hold on! Where are you sticking that golden fruit? Clyde?
So the story starts out with the four ghosts, Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Glide, just kinda dicking around in PAC-Village at night. Eventually they pick up the magical golden fruit off the big cedar tree and start playing around with them, which accidentally releases an ancient demon sealed away beneath the tree, named Spooky. Spooky tasks the four ghosts to hide the golden fruit around the different regions of PAC-LAND, and with that, he takes off to Ghost Island. It's a pretty good opening overall. It tells of the villain, the MacGuffins, and the stakes, and has some fun slapstick along the way. Although I do think the villain's name is kinda dumb, like Spooky. Really? That's the best you could come up with? That sounds like something I would come up with when I was 6 years old. Hey little Timmy, what are you drawing? Oh, I'm drawing a little character I made. Really? Can I see it? Okay, here you go. I call him Spooky. The next morning, Pac-Man wakes up to see the village in complete decay. Professor Pac fills him in on what happened, and gives him a quick history lesson about the golden fruit. Many years ago, a huge war broke out between the Pac people and the ghosts, with Spooky leading the charge. To stop the ever-growing ghost army, a Pac wizard turned 5 ordinary fruits into magical golden fruit. He handed the fruit to a valiant Pac knight. The knight used their power to seal Spooky underneath a giant tree. Now it's up to Pac-Man to track down the 5 golden fruits and defeat Spooky to restore Village and save Pac-Land. I really like this plot. It's befittingly goofy of Pac-Man. It never tries to take itself too seriously, and even though there are stakes, the game still has a light and cheerful tone the whole way through. Also, I really like the fact that everything in this world has the word Pac slapped onto it. PAC-Village, Pac-Wizard, Pac-Knight, Professor Pac, Pac-Man, Pac-Gun, Pac-Devil, Pac-Restraining Order. Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC plays like your standard 3D platformer. You walk, you run, you jump, etc. But it does have its own unique mechanics to set itself apart, such as the Rev Roll. Holding down the top base button will charge up a Rev Roll, launching Pac-Man forward with a burst of speed. You can use it to climb up steep hills, launch off ramps, defeat enemies, and of course, get an extra boost of speed. My only problem with it is that the speed you get from a Rev Roll does not translate into your jump, which can really break the momentum of gameplay, but thankfully the next move makes up for that. The Butt Bounce. Pressing the bottom face button will make Pac-Man jump. Pressing again in midair will slam it into the ground, bouncing me even higher. It's very useful for platforming and getting extra height, activating switches, and even taking on enemies. You'll also notice this circle that appears around Pac-Man every time he jumps or butt bounces. Well, if you time your butt bounce right when the circle closes in and lines up with him, you can perform a super butt bounce, which gives you even more height and sends that shockwave that stuns enemies. I use the super butt bounce constantly. It's so useful and it's fun to pull off, especially in quick succession. I will say though, I don't like how delayed the butt bounce is when the original Pac-Man World 2 was instant. The Flip Kick. Pressing the left face button will have Pac-Man perform a flip kick, which can be used to break open crates and defeat enemies. It's nothing crazy, it's just another attack option, but it is my personal way of attacking enemies. In the original game, however, Pac-Man could only flip kick while he was in midair, while in the remake he can do it in both air and on land, which is a good change. The PAC-Dot Throw. Throughout the game you can collect the iconic PAC-Dots. No, they're not called cookies. When you pick them up, you can toss them out like a projectile. You can even charge up your shot to create even bigger explosion at the cost of using up more PAC-Dots. I'll be honest, this was the least useful move for me. There was rarely a situation where I actually bothered using the attack, especially when the other attacks get the job done easier. The funny thing is, this attack was never even in the original game, but was added in the remake. The hover. If you hold down the left trigger while in midair, Pac-Man will hover, giving you a little extra airtime, kind of like Yoshi's Flutter Kick. While the move is useful, it can be a pace breaker, since it practically kills all your momentum. In my opinion, it should have been more like Yoshi's Flutter, where when you hover, you can carry some of your momentum. Now let's talk about the level design, yay! The level design is very linear, kind of like Kirby in the Forgotten Land. You basically go from point A to point B. The main collectibles are the classic Pac-Man fruit, the cherry, the strawberry, the apple, the orange, and the melon, each worth more points than the last. Every level has a set number of fruits you need to collect, and the total changes from stage to stage. However, you have to collect all the fruit in a single attempt. The game doesn't save the ones you already collected on previous playthroughs, which isn't the worst thing ever, but it is kinda annoying. In some levels you can fight a Galaxian that unlocks a maze stage, which we'll talk about later. There's a solid variety of enemies, and some of them can only be defeated with specific moves. You got enemies that can only be defeated with a rev roll, others that need a butt bounce, and even a few that can only be defeated by a PAC-Dot throw. There are also ghost enemies, which can't be defeated normally. Instead, you have to grab a power pellet and transform into Mega Pac-Man. With this, you could gobble any ghost in a super munchy form. This feels like a motherfucking power-up, baby. It makes you feel so powerful and unstoppable. It's so good, ah! There are other power-ups too, like the steel pillar, which turns Pac-Man into metal, that gives him temporary invincibility and allows him to sink and walk underwater, and even walk on lava. There's also the micro pellet that shrinks Pac-Man down so he can slip into small crevices and find hidden areas. Oh hey, look at this, a candy, whoa, no. There are 6 main worlds of the game. Paradise Meadows is your standard grass world, nothing special. The treetops are packed with bouncy trampolines, saw blades, and burners. The snowy mountain has slippery ice, freezing water, and giant rolling snowballs that you have to dodge. The volcano is filled with lava and fire hazards. The ocean's first 2 stages are traditional underwater levels, while the next 2 are on-rail shooting levels. And Ghost Island is filled with mazes, deadly poison, and lightning hazards. The world themes are generic, definitely a step down from the themes from Pac-Man World 1. Some stages actually switch up the gameplay style, such as 3-3 and the first half of 3-4, using ice skating controls. 5-1 and 5-2 have special underwater controls, while 5-3 and 5-4 are on-rail shooting levels. And 6-1 has roller skating gameplay. Just like any other platformer, each world has a boss at the end. The first 4 worlds being boss fights against Clyde, Inky, Pinky, and Blinky, and the 5th boss being against all 4 ghosts, and the final boss being a shutout against Spooky himself. The bosses are all pretty good, except for the 5th one, but the one that I liked the most was the Pinky boss fight in World 3. The first half being a chase sequence where you chase Pinky, while the second half being a really intense boss fight against her Polar Bear mech. It's so good. Also, shout out to the Blinky boss fight for having an absolute banger of a boss theme. We'll get into the music later. A new thing the remake introduces are missions. Every stage has a set of objectives you can complete. If you complete them all, you get a costume. Side note, I really like the trend of 3D platformers recently, having costumes. Thank you, Mario Odyssey. There are also time trials, where you have to clear a stage as fast as possible, no duh, but with a twist. During a time trial run, there will be clocks scattered throughout the stage that you need to collect that lowers your total time. So it's not only a test of speed, but also a test of how efficiently you can collect things, which is pretty cool. And lastly, there are tokens that you can collect in stages, which you can use at the arcade at PAC-Village. Speaking of which, let's talk about it. PAC-Village has been greatly expanded from the original game. Giant Thors now cover the town, slowly disappearing as you collect more golden fruit, and the village itself becoming more populated over time. There's an arcade where you can play some classic Pac-Man games, which is a neat bonus. On top of that, you can collect some Gashapon figures using their earned tokens and change your costume in Nova Shop. And remember the Galaxians I talked about earlier? You can actually play the maze stages you unlock here. They're essentially just classic Pac-Man gameplay with new maze layouts, but they're still fun nonetheless. Overall, Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC delivers solid gameplay, fun controls, strong level design, surprisingly good boss fights, and some genuinely cool extras. Now let's talk about characters, yay! The game is filled with a colorful cast of characters, as you expect from a game like this. Pac-Man shines in all yellow glory, the Ghost Gang are all awesome, Spooky is genuinely an amazing villain, and all the NPCs have their own distinct charm. One of the remake's biggest upgrades is the addition of full-on voice acting, highlighted by the return of Martin T. Sherman, reprising his role as Pac-Man from Pac-Man World 3. He's by far the fan-favorite Pac-Man voice. To be fair, when your comparisons look like this,
they'll creep up on you and take you by surprise!
Yeah, it's not much of a competition. What intrigues me the most about Martin's take on Pac-Man is how uniquely normal it sounds, almost in spite of itself. Unlike other video game mascot contemporaries like Mario and Sonic, whose voice actors lead into more highly exaggerated cartoonish voices, Pac-Man just sounds like a regular guy. And if you think about it, it kind of fits. Yeah, he's a yellow ball with limbs and an appetite, but he also has a wife, 2 kids, a dog, and a house, and probably has a mortgage to pay as well, so it probably makes sense to use that kind of voice on him. And yeah, all the other VAs are great too, Blinkies and Spookies especially. Now let's talk about music, yay! Pac-Man World 2 soundtrack is widely considered to be one of the best platformer soundtracks of the 6th generation, and the remake definitely preserves that legacy. Tracks like the main theme, Adoring Woods, Blade Mountain, are all standout tracks, but the undisputed highlight is Blinky in the Caldera. It being a heavy metal remix of the original track that gets more and more intense as you deal more damage, it's so big! Ah! So yeah, the soundtrack is pretty good. Now it's time for dot visuals, yeah! visuals in the remake are pretty solid overall. It's bright and colorful, like most modern 3D platformers. But I will say, it lost some of the charm the original game had. The original leaned into more dark and grungier aesthetics, while the remake brightens everything up, which slightly dulls down a unique atmosphere. Even so, it's still a good looking game. Now it's time for content! In order to 100% Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC, you need to beat the main story, collect all the fruits and galaxies, complete every mission, collect every costume, beat every maze stage, collect every Gashapon figure, and get a gold rank on every time trial. But there is one thing I've intentionally avoided mentioning throughout this entire video, and that's the fact that this remake includes an entirely new post-game. You see, after the events of the main story, Pac-Boy and Pac-Sis discover a portal hidden inside the center tree, with them accidentally falling into it. Pac-Man eventually finds Pac-Boy's hat and jumps into the portal as well. This sends him into the past where Spooky was terrorizing Pac-Land for the first time, and now it's up to Pac-Man to save his 2 kids and return to the present. The post-game features remixed versions of all 6 main worlds, but instead of 3 stages and 1 boss, each world is reworked into 1 huge stage followed by a single boss. And let me tell you, these stages are no joke, like these can get tough. The remix bosses are also no cakewalk either. Each one is directly tied to the mechanics of the first level that comes before it. For example, the remix Clyde fight has heavy use of poison, since the preceding level is filled with toxic hazards. And I'm not gonna spoil this, but there is a brand new secret boss fight after you complete the post game.
Oh my god! Wow!
I won't say who it is or what it is, but if you're a fan of Pac-Man World 1, you're definitely gonna like it. So yeah, I'd say there's a solid amount of content here. A normal playthrough will take around 5 to 6 hours, while going for 100% completion will take you around 15 hours, which I think is pretty good. Now for the final and most important question, the be-all end-all, the single greatest deciding factor for any video game ever. Did I have fun with the game? Yeah, I say I did. Obviously there are some problems with the game, no game is perfect after all. But for the amount of content and enjoyment you can get out of this game, for just the price of $30, in a time where video games are more expensive than ever, I cannot recommend this enough. And my final ranking for the game is... drumroll please. 7.5 mini Marios out of 10. And that's my review of Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Since I'm a new content creator, any bit of support helps. Anyways, that's it from me. I'll see you all on the other side. Goodbye.